Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday the 9th, and this is my mental health podcast. Thank you for joining me. It is the second episode on my new channel, and I hope, I know that I'm going to keep bringing amazing content. And if you guys have any topic suggestions you'd like to see me do some research on and talk about how it relates in my life, if it does, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Let's get started. Today's topic is fear of missing out. Now, the origins of this have always been around, as I see it, in isolation and worrying you're not having as much fun as the next guy. So with the onset of the internet and social media, everybody having updates of everybody has really increased since the early 2000s, the fear of missing out. And around that time it was coined FOMO. I remember the first time I heard that, FOMO, fear of missing out, and I'm like, there's always something we're not getting to do, right? There's always somebody who's got it better or worse than us, but growing up and remembering before the internet and before social media to seeing it bud into what it is now with Facebook and YouTube and everything. My first YouTube profile was 2006 or 7. My first Facebook account after MySpace was in 2008. So yeah, FOMO has always been a thing, and I really do believe the most of the anxiety is caused from so many social media platforms. But the relation it is in my life, and what I wanted to let stew around and ask my audience what they think about it, is, for me, my anxiety of FOMO is, I'm worried that when I'm, like, even right now, I'm doing this podcast, I'm not doing something else. It's a trade-off. And I have to get my mind quiet to know that I'm not missing out on what I could be doing. And it gets to a point with me sometimes where I freeze. I have so many thoughts. I have so many things I want to do that I don't get anything done. And then I'm just kicking myself in the butt for not getting anything done. So you tell me, how is that supposed to work? It's a circle in my life that I really need to pay attention to. I've really, really needed to pay attention to, even down to like, because I kind of so my hoarding. All right, let's bring it back here in focus. I don't like to get rid of things because I'm afraid that I might need it in the future. To me, that's an example of a fear of missing out, right? I'm afraid of something in the future or something in the present that I'm trading off or that I'm not going to have when I want it. And I took this past week getting ready for this episode and really thought on what it is that contributes to that the most for me. Like, what does it look like? And I decided that, especially with the beginning of last week being under the weather, I've come to the conclusion that my number one anxiety from fear of missing out is definitely that I'm not gonna get everything done. even if I am doing as much as I can, there's stuff I'm not going to get to, and I'm missing out on doing that. Well, I had the realization that this was a thing 20 years ago. 30 years ago. I remember that feeling, and the stuff, when I look back, the stuff that I didn't get done then that was causing anxiety in that time, one, I didn't remember about that anxiety until I just tried to, right? It obviously didn't ruin my life and lasted until now. And two, whatever it was that I didn't get done, it's still okay it didn't get done. I have to rationalize that. And using this train of thought brings me to the third point. Sorry, in my head, the third point. So we've got what is FOMO, how it relates to everyday life, and then 3 coping mechanisms on how to control a little bit of that static that comes from it. So my third point in coping with it is the rationalization that my world hasn't collapsed yet because I haven't done something. My world has collapsed more so often from what I do, not what I miss out on doing. So to keep that in mind is a funny perspective. And a large part of my coping strategy is understanding that a digital detox. And I know this seems kind of contrary because I'm creating content for the internet, but screen time on my phone, it's one thing to be at a desktop computer and to be active and stuff like that, but it's another thing for when I pick up my phone and I go to do something productive and then I get stuck on reels or shorts, right, for hours. So that digital detox aspect of it, or at least keeping aware of how much digital screen time or interference or usage I'm getting, and how much of it is actually productive. Keeping track of my screen time, my average, how long I'm on Facebook, stuff like that. And then also balancing that with physical health. Like, am I letting go? Am I not showering? Am I not doing other things because I'm on a device too much? I have to prioritize that. So the fear of missing out is a pretty big thing I've come to determine. And I remember when I first heard the term in the 2000s, I laughed. FOMO? I was like, FOMO? But I think it's something that's real. So, and I've got a lot of years of data now to look back and say, yeah, it's definitely something. And that's what it is, the history of it, and how I cope with it. I now ask my viewers, even though it's an age of the Fowler's gone and it's all about the algorithm, oh no, I'm here for, hey YouTubes, I'm here for YouTubes. I'm here for me. I'm here to broadcast myself. This is my 12th step. So I ask you guys, if anybody makes it this far, I implore you to think about this yourself. Look at your screen time. If you have anything to add, leave it in the comments, how it helped you. And please remember that whatever you're doing in the moment can be just as important as something you're not doing. And don't beat yourself up, YouTubes. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'm not going to edit this. I'm just putting it on. So thank you very much. And I hope you tune in next week for my mental health podcast. Over and out.